Hi, I'm Rick the Pilot Teacher, and in this video I'm going to give you some awesome tips on how you can get from being a no pilot to being a pilot of a helicopter in your dream job. It might take you a few years or a few decades to get there, but if you start going down the wrong path, you'll never get there. So this video is going to be full of tips on how you can get from first day of flight school to flying a helicopter of your choice doing your dream job. So with each kind of flying job, there's certain flying experiences. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys, but I've just noticed as I've got back to my video editing suite, which is in my basement, or my cave as my wife calls it, is that at some point just before I shot the video, I obviously had an itch on my face and scratched a bug bite, and now it's bleeding. And it's distracting and annoying as heck. Trust me, I'm editing the video and all I can look at is this piece of blood on my chin. So sorry about that. That's real world, that's just the way it is. I don't have the time now. I'm in the middle of fire season, so it's tough to find time to try and reshoot the video, so you'll just have to try and ignore it, concentrate on the content, because it's good, especially if you are early in your career and there's a certain kind of flying job that you want to do. So just ignore this, concentrate on the video. So with each kind of flying job, there's certain flying experiences that are very particular to certain jobs. And if you don't have the right experience, even if you're a very experienced pilot, if you don't have the right experience in the right kind of flying, then you're never going to get that job. So let's say if you wanted to be a search and rescue pilot, you can guarantee you're going to be working in a multi-crew 2-engine aircraft. You can guarantee you're going to be able to be flying at night. You're probably going to be flying either offshore or search and rescue in the mountains. So there's a lot of flying attributes that you need to have under your belt before you're able to apply for a position. Another job might be police. You always wanted to fly a police helicopter, then you're going to be flying over urban environments and you're going to be flying at night. So again, different kind of attributes compared to search and rescue. What about if you want to be a heli-ski pilot? Well, you're going to be flying in the winter with snow in the mountains. That's a completely different skill set to flying police. So you've got to be able to match the skill set throughout your career to be able to get all those kind of flying experiences under your belt, so that then you can put your resume in and nail that job. So the few tips that I've got that I've kind of learned over my career is that one of the best ways to figure out what kind of experience that kind of flying job entails is to speak to the pilots that are currently doing that job. Now you can do that in several ways. Let's say if you wanted to be a police pilot, give the police hangar a call and see if you can go and arrange a visit. Go and spend, a bit of time with the police pilots. Go talk to them, find out what kind of flying they've done in their career. Where did they start? How did they get into that job? Just try and get a feel of what it takes to be that pilot. A good way to find pilots is Facebook, helicopter forums, places like Heli Expo. LinkedIn is another great one. Just search around, try and find a pilot that flies the position of what you would love to fly in, say, 5, 10, 15 years time, and just reach out to them. Most of the guys that I've spoke to over the years, I've reached out to just quick instant message through Facebook or something like that, and I've arranged to go and see them on their job, and it's been really, really insightful. Very friendly people. Now, one thing I'll probably stay away from is trying to talk to the chief pilot or the operations manager of the companies, because they are usually very, very busy people. They get pilots calling them all the time, and generally you're not going to get a chance to speak to them. But speaking to a pilot, most of the time they always love to talk. And a cool tip, if you get to go and visit them at the hangar, always take a box of donuts. Those pilots love donuts. You show up with a box of donuts, you are gold the second you walk through the door. So once you can kind of start to get an understanding of what kind of flying experience your dream job entails, the next thing to do is to try and make some kind of a rough plan of how to get from where you are now to get in through that door. So let's say your dream job would be a search and rescue pilot in the mountains. Well, for a start, you're going to be wanting extensive mountain experience. You're going to be wanting extensive long line vertical reference skills. You're going to need to have extensive experience flying in snow and weather and the associated weather conditions that come with flying in mountains. And you're not going to get that kind of experience by flying offshore. You know, flying a twin engine like an S92, point A to point B, an offshore oil rig isn't going to get you that experience. So try and come up with a plan and kind of work your way backwards. So this is my plan. This is my dream job. What do I need to get to be able to successfully be able to apply for that position in further in my career? And one of the best places to start is going to be flight school. So let's say you'd be wanting to be this search and rescue pilot in the mountains. Why not start at a flight school that is based in the mountains? You start flight training in the Arizona desert, you're off to a bad start. Why not go and flight train in a school that specializes in mountain training and do all your training in the mountains? It just kind of makes sense. Another good thing to do is you can ask, when you're talking to those pilots, ask them if they've got any recommended flight schools that that they think you should go to. Sometimes flight schools may even be kind of accredited to help try and get students on behalf of the flight companies, but just be careful of the old carrot dangling. Hey, you come train with us, we will guarantee you a flight position with PHI flying offshore. Yeah, I've seen that carrot dangling all the time. You give them the money, done your training, you're out the door on your own. So just be mindful of that. If there are any flight schools that are in cahoots with companies, just do your due diligence and check them out. But try and train at a flight school that is going to give you the best experience to get towards that job. Another thing you can do is, before you go and speak to the pilots at that job, try and immerse yourself in the job a little bit. Try and find out what they do on a day-to-day basis, what aircraft they fly, why they fly those kind of aircrafts. Do they fly two pilot? Do they fly single pilot during the day and two crew at night? Is there any progression throughout the company to kind of get into that spot? Like there's a company that does heli skiing lots in Canada called Alpine, and they have a junior pilot program where they bring on junior pilots straight out of flight school. They give them a couple of years on the ground, learning all the equipment and all the operational side of it. Then they start doing tours in the 206 and the Long Ranger. Then they start going on to heli ski support, so they might move up to, say, the Bell 407 and start flying groceries into the heli lodges. Then they can go on to the Bell 212s, things like that, and they get into the heli skiing, the search and rescue in the mountains, things like that. So some companies can get you straight in at the door and take you all the way through to being you know, your dream job as a mountain search and rescue pilot. So have a look around at some of the companies and just try and immerse yourself. Try and figure out, okay, what is it about this dream job that I need to know, that I can have a little bit more understanding, so that when I get to speak to the pilots, I've got a bit more of an understanding, so I can ask some more thoughtful questions. If you were me, what path would you take to get your job? There's 10 different ways to get all the experience, but at least if you've got a bit of a game plan, then you can kind of walk that game plan one step at a time. Like previous videos I mentioned, one step at a time, you will get there, but you need a little bit of a plan to figure out those steps. So one major tip that I've got for you, that every one of you that are thinking of becoming a pilot needs to do, is that before you ever start flight school, make sure you are able to gain the medical certificate for the job you want to do. So if you're going to be a professional pilot, you're probably going to need a class 1 medical, and if you go for your medical and you aren't able to meet those requirements, if you're halfway through flight school, you've wasted a lot of money. You know, one of my friends, he ended up with a bit of a heart murmur, didn't even know about it, and they pulled it up on his ECG during his initial medical, and they're like, sorry, you can't fly people. And he was devastated, but luckily he found it out before he went spending money at flight school. So go and get your medical first. Once you've got your medical that dream job requires, then start your flight training and start trying to fly in a location that is going to give you the best foothold to start that path to your dream job. So that's just a little bit of an insight as to how you can get from point A to point B and then point C, wherever your dream job is. It might take you 10-15 years to do it, but if you go 10-15 years down this path and you needed to have gone down this path, you will never have the right flight experience for your dream job. Like, I'd love to be a search and rescue pilot in the mountains, but for the last 10 years I've been flying in the flatlands, and to be honest, the mountains scare the crap out of me. I get so intimidated because I've not flown in them for 10 years. So me trying to go for a search and rescue pilot position, nah, ain't gonna work. I don't have the vertical reference skills, I don't have the mountain skills. I've got the winter skills, it's always snowy out here, but I don't have the winter in the mountain skills. So yeah, me trying to get a search and rescue pilot position in the mountains isn't going to happen. But that wasn't my dream job, so I didn't go down that path. But it just shows that if you go down the wrong path, it can take you a long time to get back on the path and get that experience needed. So if there's one job that you love to do, start it from day one, start that path, take those steps forward, never stop dreaming. Damn mosquitoes. Never stop dreaming and always keep pushing towards your dream. And if you want it hard enough, you will make it. So if you love this kind of video, cool. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I've got new stuff coming out all the time trying to help you get into a position like I am, where I get to fly in one of these cool machines. Weather's looking nice, so just waiting for my fire crew to arrive. I'm on fires at the moment, so I'm just taking the opportunity of the downtime before we go fire up and see what Mother Nature is doing to this earth. But yeah, if you like it, cool, thumbs up. See you next time.